Welcome back to the Smoker Fire Show. I'm your host, Corbin Walters, and I'm with Jack here. About 3 to 4 hours ago, we had the All-Star Weekend officially end, and Team All-Star Stars, led by Anthony Edwards, won the round-robin tournament, and it was a success overall. There were some, ups and downs to All-Star Weekend, but as a whole, I would say pretty good. Pretty good. Is that what we're feeling here?
Okay, so the actual games itself, like as far as like an effort standpoint, was phenomenal. We saw actual sets happening. We saw like legit defense happen. Like this isn't like 2 years ago. I think when it was in Indiana, where I think both teams actually scored over 200 points, if I'm not mistaken. If not,
very
one of them
close
did.
to 200, if not over.
I know one of them did get over 200. I don't know if both of them did, but we actually saw like, okay, wow, this is like the best players in the world like fighting, going at it. That's not something we have really ever seen in the last 10-ish years. So from that standpoint, of course, that was an absolute win. I beg another question that kind of comes to mind is like, is that the standard of how we want to look at these types of games? Is this the standard of, oh well, they tried, so I think this is an absolute win?
Well, I think it was more of an effort in the sense of not even just trying, but actually caring. Wemby left game one looking pissed that they lost.
Yeah.
Then left game three again looking pissed because they lost. And I think one of the biggest things was not only splitting them up in the sense of world versus U.S., but then taking two U.S. teams and putting it young guys against the vets. And when the moment in game one I saw like Cade Cunningham sit in the chair, I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, they care because these young guys are trying to prove that they are better than the old guys. The old guys are trying to show, hey,
We
we're
had
not
that last year
lonely.
though. That's the thing. We had it last year. There was a team that was older. There was a team that was younger.
Yeah, but I think now it's more of one of the things is there are certain people that you can bring into a game. First off, you brought two Detroit guys into this game. They're gonna want to play. That's just how like the kind of the Detroit vibe is.
Yeah.
Every time Detroit's in anything that they're gonna ball their heart out. Then you have Team World. Obviously, you're playing in the sense of we want to win. Prove we're better. Now, you did have some people like Luka and Jokic who only played 5 minutes, which I did have a problem with, but we all kind of knew they were going to do that in the first place, so you kind of just have to get over it. Maybe we shouldn't vote them in anymore and give that spot to somebody. But you also had a lot of guys who, this was a lot of people's first-time All-Star games. Jamal Murray, first-time All-Star. He hooped his ass off. Who else was it?
Chet Holmgren.
Norman Powell, yeah. Chet Holmgren was playing some phenomenal defense. Denny Avdia, he didn't do too much, but they try. I think one of the biggest things was you got a lot of these guys coming onto this stage for the first time, trying to show what they're capable of. You've got teams now with like some form of cohesion. You've got some guys in there who are more known for the defensive side of the ball than they are for the offense, like Chet Holmgren. Scotty Barnes was even in there. Kawhi, which we'll talk about Kawhi later, because his Game 3 performance was one of the greatest All-Star performances we've ever seen.
Probably all time. That was probably an all-time performance right there.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the fact that we were in LA. I don't really know what clicked in these guys' heads. I think it may have been a lot of combining factors. Maybe Adam Silver gave them some incentive behind closed doors that we don't know about to get them to try. I know that this is the first year that they changed the All-Star MVP award name to Kobe. And when Kobe is involved, a lot of these players act completely different. If that has something to do with it. Because, remember 2020? Was it, no, 2019, 2020 All-Star game? Where right after Kobe had passed was one of the best All-Star games we've seen in a while.
2020, yeah.
So that is also, I think, may have had something to do with it. Because, again, when Kobe's involved, it turns a lot of shit around.
I don't know. It's hard to convince me that naming the MVP award after Kobe would give.
I'm not saying that that's
them
what it
enough
was, but
incentive. So I guess the biggest question of this entire video is was the All-Star format, because I think we can all agree, and if you disagree with this, I don't really think you like the NBA, that at least the product on the court tonight was, and this will probably come out tomorrow or the next day, is the product on the court was awesome. I guess the biggest question is, was it because of the actual format itself, where there was one world team and two USA teams? Is that the reason why they ended up carrying? And I think my response to that is no. I don't think it has anything. I think maybe it had a little bit to do with it, but most of the guys that were in that game, or the games, I should say, they all say that they want to go back to the East and West type of thing. I think that's exactly where we're headed to. Maybe not in the near future because it seemed like this one worked. So I think Adam Silver is going to stick with it for at least a few years. But at some point, we're going to go back to the East and West thing, and it's going to be the exact same. I don't think there's going to be much of a difference between how people play in the All-Star game, whether it's World versus USA or East versus West.
It's too small of a sample size to know. Personally, like,
Sure.
if Adam Silver runs it again next year, and we see the same thing, and then he runs it a year after that, and we see the same thing, like we see actual caring in the All-Star game, then it'll stay this way for a while.
But I think
also,
I don't
Adam
even think it's
Silver-
that. I think it's the players. That's what it is. It's Victor Wembanyama. It's Anthony Edwards. It's Cade Cunningham. Those are the types of guys that actually care about being on the court and
Yeah.
really trying. If we do the same thing for the next few years, we're probably going to see the same exact product because the same guys are going to be in it every single season. Anthony
And you're gonna have even, like-
Wembanyama. They're all going to be in that game.
even newer guys are going to come in. Like, you could see. I probably don't want LaMelo Ball in the All-Star game. He's not going to take it serious.
No.
But like Brandon Miller, or you're going to see a lot of now these new guys are going to start coming in even more, and we're going to start to see. Hopefully, we see this path continue, because what we saw tonight, all 4 games of the All-Star game were good. They were really fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We saw, like I said, a goated Kawhi performance in Game 3, where he was playing both sides of the ball, which you don't even see Kawhi do in like a regular game much now anymore. Not even that Kawhi's a bad defender. It's just he's the offensive load for that team entirely. So he's got to
Especially
kind of
now.
calm it down. All we can hope for is that it stays, and that it stays this way, because it used to be like this in like pre-2010s, and then 2010s happened, and then we got out of the dead ball era, and then All-Star games started sucking. So we just have to hope that isn't the case anymore. And it looks like it's not. Again, I think having the younger guys now starting to step in and come in and play be All-Stars plays a big part in that. Because for the longest time, it was the same, like primarily like 16 players, and then you had like 2 or 3 new guys who were first-time All-Stars. But majority of it was Steph, LeBron, KD, Embiid, Giannis, Jokic, and all them, and some of them don't even give a shit about the All-Star game, which we saw this week, or which we saw tonight.
So the caveat is the players. The caveat is now that we have
Mhm.
Victor Wembanyama in this league, and he's one of the best players in the league. Anthony Edwards, he has a chip on his shoulder every single time he steps onto a basketball court for some reason. Even if it's an All-Star game, he has a chip on his shoulder.
He's pissed no matter what.
He's just pissed that he's pissed at the other team just because they exist. Same with Wemby. It's the same thing. And you were saying earlier with Cade Cunningham, he was sitting in the chair like.
I saw that, man. I got so happy when I saw that first possession, Cade down low, sitting in the chair, man. I was like, okay, so y'all give a shit.
I think
Y'all give a shit.
I think another part of it, which I guess does prove that they were trying, but we kind of got a little spoiled because game 1 was it game 1 or game 2? It literally went to overtime.
Game one went to overtime.
Game 1 went to overtime. Game 2, there was a literal game winner. So, like, the first 2 games, you can't ask for anything better. And then Game 3 rolls around, and you have Kawhi Leonard dropping... what did he drop? Over 30 points?
He
It's
dropped
like 3
20
baskets.
He dropped like 28, I want to say.
Yeah, and he missed, like, a few baskets at
He
most.
was so good, dude.
And it's perfect. It's perfect for Kawhi Leonard to be the guy that goes off because
He had 31 of
31.
their
Yeah, I was gonna say I
48
thought it was
points.
over 30. It was perfect that Kawhi Leonard went off specifically, at least in one of the games, because I mean we're literally playing this in the Intuit Dome. So
And he also was like a last name All-Star. They almost didn't have him.
no, he wasn't in at first,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't even in it. He wasn't even supposed to be here.
which is just a whole nother conversation. But as far as the All-Star game itself, and we can kind of move into like the dunk contest. Absolute win. I just don't personally think it was because of the literal format itself.
Format helped in a sense of like, in some way, shape, or form. It was probably like 10%. I don't really think format was ever the problem, because at the end of the day, you're still playing basketball. It's still going to be 5v5 on the court.
I think that my biggest thing is I really do not like the round robin type of tournament. That like, I don't. There's something about Adam Silver and tournaments
Gimmicks?
that not even just gimmicks, but more specifically tournaments. The guy just absolutely loves a tournament any time that he can.
does.
We first we have the play-in tournament, and then we have the
Playing tournament's good.
play-in tournament's
Play-in
good,
tournament's
sure. Now the NBA Cup and the tournaments
Cup's
that go
pretty
around
baller
with
too,
there.
I'll give it that.
The All-Star tournament, like there's so many just tournaments.
I will say what I enjoyed about the this All-Star tournament in particular was there being this incentive of point differential. So
Yeah.
you do have to lock in specifically in those last few minutes because, if they hit this three, which we did see tonight, like they're going to be up now, then they have a +2 point differential, which means we have to do better than that. Like the world had a -2 point differential because they hit a 2, and then there was was it a 4? How did that even happen? I kind of missed the overtime of that first game.
Which I did like the overtime rules too, because you have to get to 5 points, and they I forget who it was, but
That's what it
I
was,
think
yeah.
it was there was one guy that was driving to the basket, kind of had an open lane, and then passed it back out to Scotty Barnes to hit the
lead taking 3. Yep.
Yeah, the format specifically. Do you like the tournament, or do you like? Can we just do 4 quarters?
The thing, I didn't mind the tournament, to be honest. It's not like it really mattered to me, I guess.
It only really matters with the casual fans.
Yeah, I guess for like casuals, it's gonna be a little bit different to lock into 4 separate games, even though they're only 12-minute games. Because you basically played a full quarter of basketball. You had 4 12-minute games.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to keep up with if you aren't paying attention. So for the casual, I see it being I personally enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't. I enjoyed it because it was 4 really good games.
3, yeah.
Yeah,
The last
3,
one
yeah.
was a blowout.
Last one was all right. But if it doesn't need to be a tournament, I don't think the tournament had anything to do with it. It's just kind of there. It's a gimmick thing because Adam Silver loves his tournaments.
Well, I think the biggest reason why he went to some sort of tournament route is it literally happened. It's been happening for the last 2 years now because back in 2024, that was the year where they scored over 200 points in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when everything changed. It's like, okay, he heard the feedback is too much. So he switched to something else where you physically can't get to.
And last year it didn't work.
Last year it didn't work.
It worked this year though. I want to look at the rosters and just see.
Well, I think the biggest reason is the jumps between Anthony Edwards and Victor Wembanyama. That's my take on that. They were both great players last season, but they have really honed in on their craft, and is like, what's the term? They're like a consensus top 7, 8 players in the league, maybe even small, like a smaller margin than that. So they are much better players now. So like those 2 guys have now set the tone, and I know Ant was kind of saying that Wemby was the guy that set the tone, but Anthony Edwards, just every single thing that he did, he really cared. And if those 2 are the faces of the league for the next 10 years, however many years that go by, we're going to see people under them kind of do the same thing. Like, okay, if I want to get this MVP, I have to outplay Victor Wembanyama and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it's the format.
I know. I think you're right. And I think like if you look at it in the sense of for the longest time, like the faces of the All-Star game and like the NBA in general was always Steph, LeBron, KD. Like those are always the 3 people that you're going to think of. And at that point, like even more in these recent years, because in the beginning I'd say they did try a lot, but when you are headlining, when you're basically the headliner for this show and it's your 15th time, you don't give a shit. And when you, as the leader of this team, don't care, it's a trickle-down effect. Tatum's not going to care. Evan Mobley's not going to care. Donovan Mitchell's not going to care.
Okay, in 10 years, do you really think that Anthony Edwards or Victor Wembanyama would not really care as much?
I think
it's more of a mindset thing between those 2 guys.
You can say that, but I mean, are you going to try to tell me that 10 years ago LeBron and now like 40-year-old LeBron are completely different mindsets? Because they 100% are. That man nearly burned down a city because he wanted to win a championship so bad.
Yeah, but championships and the All-Star game. I mean, the ultimate.
Well, no, but there's obviously LeBron doesn't give a shit right now. He does not give a shit about anything.
Well, no, he should be retired at this point.
But 10 years ago, LeBron cared, and again, 10 years ago, LeBron or 15 years ago, LeBron was trying in All-Star games.
Yeah.
Is what I'm not saying. Anthony Edwards in 10 years is not going to try, but I'm saying.
I don't. There's just something about those two guys that really they really give a shit.
I mean, Vic went and traded with Buddhist monks in China over there. He cares.
And Hakeem Olajuwon too.